funny. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I know what you're probably thinking is, where's Tesh? Is he still breathing? Yes. Look at Twitter. You'll know he's breathing. Or Twitch. In which case, it's I think twitch.tv/the TeshTube. Is that also on Twitch, right? Because that is it on YouTube. I think that's it on Twitch.
I think that's it.
Sure
it's the test tube.
I know. I follow him, so when I see it green, I just click on it. So, anyways, Tesh is coming back next week. He just had to finish one more family-related thing this week, and then he's joining us next week. In which case, we can find out what happened to Valrin, how he died, and what Tesh's new character is. What? Then we have to rename
the rule of two.
The rule of two. Well, we have to rename the kingdom to his new character's name, Steve, and now it's gonna have to be like Steverin, and it's gonna be weird and. Yeah.
I love it. Stellarin.
There you go. Okay, that's cleaner than mine. And if his name's Bob, then is it Bobarin? Bobarin. No, this is terrible. Jake, do you want to tell us what happened last session? Because things went beautifully last session, swimmingly.
Yeah, he asked you a question. It's okay to just be like.
Last session, we got away from the owlbears. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then what happened after that?
We murdered the owlbears.
And then we came across a really cool guy who is now going to be at every meal Ray runs at.
Oh.
That's the end of it, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about Ret Rock, even though I just talked about him on stream the other night. I just activated all of the rewards from the daddies. So you guys, if you might be able to refresh, or if you just give it a minute, you might be able to see how the daddy system's working.
No, I liked it where you left it with just the Twitch pool of luck, actually.
You got to be nice for the community game. Jake, I know you popped in and saw a bit of the community game. Neil, I think you just saw the clips, but I'll tell you guys.
I just saw the clips.
It was a lot of fun. I know that Jake is probably in the next story arc, and I'm looking forward to having you there. Josh did a pretty good job. So big shout out to Josh.
Josh did a pretty good job. He did really well. No, none of that. It was okay.
I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10.
He just did. Wow.
Yeah, 6.5 out of 10. Is that not?
Oh look, he's in chat crying because of what you've just said.
I mean, Josh did fantastic. It goes to 11. Still got a 6.5, but it goes to 11. You guys killed the owlbear. The owlbear took care of most of the goblins for you, or should I say owlbears. And then, actually, the owlbears killed the goblins. You guys had very few casualties. After all that was said and done, you then met Ret Rock and had a chat with some traders from a different village called Vigil.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't really mean to interrupt.
No, with a different village called Vigil. Go ahead.
I didn't really want to interrupt.
Oh.
I was just commenting on yes, you reminded me. My memory is, I'm getting in. I'm a method actor. I'm getting into the Rayron. Wow, coming from you.
Yeah, Grandpa's calling you old.
Isn't that like an old chicken calling a chick that's just hatched old? The old chicken has memory issues as well. The chick is very attractive.
I feel like this is terrible side chatter. Like we're not even being funny right now. I think both of us are just being sad, and Jake is just shaking his head.
You're too tired to know what funny is, Scott. That's the problem.
I know what unfunny is. A great DM. So.
Boom! We did it.
Yay! We got there, boys. We got there. All right. So, anyways, let's jump back into it. I know that you invited him to dinner. Did you want that to be an actual RP thing there, Jake?
God, no.
If Neil wants to talk to him the whole time while I sit and watch.
No. No more Ret Rock. Glug Mug can be given a mug, and Glug his mug, quietly.
It sounds like you kind of enjoy the character already.
I understand.
I do.
His purpose. To to make barrels.
To make barrels.
The almost best barrels in the land.
All right, cool. So you guys have the conversations with him. Let's open up everything. So we when jumping into the jumping back into the game. Obviously, stuff that transpired recently has been a little intense. You know what I mean? You're still missing a third of your leadership of this kingdom. Things have gone a little sideways. But on the good side, like the positive things that have happened lately, is that the communications with the town of Lashev went extremely well. And you said beforehand you were waiting for a response. It's not the next day after you meet with Glugmug or anything like that, but probably about 3 or 4 days after that, you'll actually receive notice from them. You know, so you'll have a messenger with 2 guards come riding into Cursefall to speak to the 2 of you, or to the leadership. And they do deliver into you a message saying that the Council of Lashev would like to move forward with the plan. They endeavor to, starting in the spring, building roads to come in your direction, to like quarry the stone and do everything they need to build the bridge, and to start building the road over in your direction. And so they're looking forward to meeting you and to enhancing trade. As for increasing the amount of trade happening right now, there's not much that they can do in the middle of the winter. Not until springtime comes, because it's kind of a hard trip for them to do without the bridge and all of that. But they're willing to make that difficult trek even before the bridge is up, as soon as the frost, kind of like breaks during the melting. So that's the good news coming from Lashev. The news coming from Elliot, I should say Forvin. You still haven't received anything quite just yet from there. You do know that apparently there is a... actually, you don't really know anything from down there, do you? You just know about what came from Dwayne and the letter that he wrote. And as for your actions with Rid, fully exploring it, allowing things to play out, you know that she's been very amicable so far, but hasn't given you any information from Hodgwen yet. News from Herod, Estrad, Hodgwen, all those, nothing.
Yeah, so and we consider them the enemy at this point. It's unfortunately for Herod and Ostrad, they're a bit Ostrad-sized.
I'm muting him. So this is going to be the Scott and Jake show. Hi Jake. So you guys, let's kind of like you received the news from Lashev, and kind of like good news there. Is there anything in particular that you want to say back to them, or any other plans that you need to go over with the plan to get to Lashev?
No, I mean the plan is to build a bridge, build a road, build a trade network, a connection.
And so, do you know how? So do you want to say anything else other than them, other than accepting terms, like they accept terms and kind of move forward?
I mean, other than obviously, we would express the kingdom's pleasure at the formation of this new alliance, and how we look forward to the prosperous friendship that has begun. But like nothing more than flowery words, really, because it would be rude to be like, actually, no, we also want this, by the way.
Okay. As for what it is that you guys are to do, just as a reminder, you're supposed to explore and then claim the areas to the left of where you are, to the left, to the west of where you are. So the idea is, if I remember correctly, if I'm going to let you guys look at the map, and you're welcome. Let's see, we'll do it like this.
Oh, finally. The useful map we want to see all the time, not my shoddily drawn map. Oh dear.
Alright, so here is where it is. And then kind of like your requirements of the deal that you had made with them was to kind of do this, where you would explore out to here, right? And after you've explored out to there, which actually is rather easy for you to do, the party itself can do it directly, was then to claim all those bits, which the exploring part is technically free. It just takes time. The claiming part costs 1 BP each. So you have to imagine that costs 3 BP. Then the last thing you want to do is actually prepare that BP, that land. So hold on, get rid of that shell, whatever that is on there. The saw blade. And then prepare the land. And then finally, you want to build roads on that land. So, preparing the land, because it's, I think, one of them still considered forest, and the rest of it's considered plains, has a little bit of a cost to it. I can look that up for you. Why were you laughing?
Nothing. Don't worry, professional streamer.
Why is something wrong?
Nothing.
Oh, what the fuck happens to the... Oh. What? Oh! I'm not in the Kingmaker one. I was in my... I was in the community commands from last night. I just had to press on my stream deck. If I can get that in the frame. There you go. I could barely get in the frame because of the wire. I have a few different ones set up. I was just in the wrong selection. That's funny.
You always cheer me up, Scott.
What can I say? All right. So anyways, and then the last thing. So this is, of course, figuring out cost of what everything that's going to be. So one of that area is going to be what's it called? Forest. Preparation costs 4, and 2 of them are going to be plains. Preparation is 1. So you're looking at 1, 2, 3 plus 6 is 9 BP, and then building roads across all that 9, 11, 12, 13 BP total in cost to do everything, which isn't that bad, but it's also time consumption. So I don't know when you guys wanted to jump into doing that, if you want to start tossing out commands for people to start doing the exploring, if you want to do it yourself, etc., etc.
Yeah, I think there's no reason not to get it explored ASAP. As soon as we know we can get it explored, because that is time consumption but no BP consumption, so we can get that one out of the way.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's 13 BP for this alliance. Sorry, Jake, but it's a lot cheaper than a bridge. A lot cheaper than a bridge.
It's 13 BP, assuming there's no hiccups or anything like that along the way. Mm-hmm.
Don't you do this to me, boy. you know what my treasury looks like. You can't say that.
You sit with 14 in there, aren't you?
Yeah.
You got enough to pay for that right now, right off the bat.
I can't afford one hiccup.
Okay. So one of the last things I want to go over is that you can tell that when you invited Leon Jaeger into your party, into your group of leadership, you notice that Leon had an immediate impact with the other leaders that were there. He just kind of like very quickly triangulated himself into a role of almost like a tier up in leadership than the other leaders happen to be. Like you could see that when he speaks, it's like Edric and Cthulhu listen to him as heavily as if they would listen to you. You can see that when the whole combat thing took place, you guys are fighting the owlbear and the goblins. That from that point on, Cthulhu's whole approach to combat changed. You can see as he even walks through the streets, just the way that the other people kind of react to him is different. Like, everybody's always respected Cthulhu. They don't really know much of Edric at all. And Elliot had a pretty good, reaction, but he just seems to carry a presence that others around in the town really do enjoy. It's almost like he kind of naturally settled into leadership.
Good. Lovely.
Okay.
Excellent. Leon's doing a stellar job.
Yeah. Smashing job, good chap. Cool. So, is there any direction coming from you guys, or am I going to throw some more stuff at you?
Yeah, there's several directions, arguably. Depends. Are we looking at like entirely non-kingdom rolly here? We'll deal with kingdom stuff at some other point, yeah?
No kingdom rolls. We just did those at the end of last session.
Cool. Perfect. Lovely. As Jake previously said, we ought to sort out the source of horses, cavalry.
Mm-hmm.
Which would involve traveling to Veren,
mm-hmm.
which they are willing to do. However, we also know that Orsugo Burning Blood is somewhere in this area, which is not necessarily ideal if we want to be bringing horses across. However, it's so difficult. If we were to be able to meet with him and speak with him, then we'd get a good idea of what he's like and whether or not he would be useful versus Haldgwen. We also know now, this is extremely important, Haldgwen is expanding like this because their water supply is poisoned due to some horrible slime monster.
Yeah, nobody knows how that got released there.
Yeah, I don't know who would do that. That's horrible.
Yep, nobody knows. Jake, any ideas as to how that horrible slime got there?
Nope.
Nope. None whatsoever, of course. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I heard some guy called Messi did it.
Oh yeah, Messi left a mess. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it the pun we're going with for today?
Yep, yep.
Okay, well.
We started off strong. So we then have a list of things we need to do. We need to get horses. We don't need to, but it could be worth doing. Speak to Orsugo the Burning Blood, because having a band of tribal warriors help us fight Haldgwen would be useful. And there's no reason why we couldn't give them, say, the Bone Devil Keep as a reward. Orsugo might like that. It lends him a legitimacy rather than being a bandit in the woods.
I will just kill you later and take it back.
Yeah. I mean, no, we'll diplomacy him later and take it back. That's what we're doing. It's a diplomacy victory here. And then the other thing is solving the issue with Haldgwen. What this would do is it would solve the food and water problems for Haldgwen. Therefore, they would be able to expand it even further with little problem. B, the people would see us as heroes and wouldn't want to fight us at all. We could then reasonably easily march a force in, depose the rulers, and settle it with minimal armed conflict. C, we go there, things don't go to plan, someone drops a curse, we get eaten by a slime monster, we get trapped by Haldgwen, the Kingmaker over.
Yeah. 2 trump cards come in one session, opening and closing of session. Mm-hmm, yep.
Yeah. So those are some of our options as I see it.
What do you think, Jake?
F for chat, sorry, Elliot.
Probably should talk to Varen first.
So you're leaning towards to Varen?
But if we go to speak to Varen, we could speak to Orsugo on the way back.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that he might try to just straight up murder us.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Do you think we could just ask the old young man for another TP? He's got more power now, right?
Well, he's supposed to protect us for a year, so...
Yeah, right? Come on, where's that protection, dude?
This is to protect you from kingdom failure and plots that take you.
Yeah,
and you're
if we die, that's a kingdom failure.
you're in month 7. Your protections are half over.
So what you're saying is we should milk it for all it's worth.
You do what you want to do. That's all I'm going to say.
I think it'd be worth talking to him.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
To that end, we should sacrifice a peon and send them as a messenger. Sorry.
To Orsugo?
We want them to go to Orsugo.
Elliot, I'm so glad you made it back. Listen, rest up, feel well, have a cuppa, and then we have someone we need you to go talk to. Thanks.
Well, seeing as you're used to being kidnapped now, you're the expert in this area. So, yeah. So we would send a messenger bearing whatever the universal sign of peace is here in Eroth. Please do not kill me. I beg for mercy. Yeah, lovely. That's canon now. Asking to have a meeting with Orsugo. He will then go to Varin and wait for us there.
Okay, so you're going to send the messengers to do exactly that. Sounds great. So why don't you do me a favor? You have time to draft it out, but you don't have Elliot to work you through your speech because of his wording and whatnot. You're going to have to roll me a diplomacy check to kind of like draft this well. You could do profession scribe. I don't think that's you.
I've not got that profession. I'm a soldier professionally, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not. You know, I like skills in Pathfinder. I feel like being a skill-based character would be far more rewarding than in 5e. Because 5e is combat sim. But, like, not good combat sim like 4e.
Triggered. All right, you draft together a beautiful letter. And you get it written there and da-da-da. You put it on a soldier. You get them all did up, looking nice. Good job. Now, you want it to be just the one person, or do you want them to have any escorts, or how do you want to handle this?
Oh, let's send 2, because they are traveling through the wilds. So 2 or 3, whichever is enough to. I need to ensure the message gets there, or is pointless.
Okay. So, do you want to do like the same method that Leshev did? 1 messenger and 2 guards?
Yeah, sure. Let's go for that. Don't know. Probably not going to send them on horses. Not sure we can spare that. Don't know. It's a long way without horses, isn't it?
Sad little non-horses. Yeah, the number of hexes. Because you imagine straight across there, and then up into this region to try to find them. So you're looking at what's that? 10 hexes. That's a considerable amount of time to go traveling.
Okay, yeah, let's give them horses.
It's 120 miles.
Yeah, let's give them horses. Is there anything else of note? No, I don't think so.
Okay. So you're going to send that to them. You're going to give them probably several days lead before you head out to Varin yourself?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, awesome.
We're very busy. We have things to do.
Okay. Anything else you guys feel you need to get her done?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's so you guys are doing all the stuff as you had said beforehand. You guys do everything like you said beforehand, kind of like sending them out. You're going to start doing blah, 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 blah. But then we're going to get to the exploration part. So while you're kind of killing time for Varin to be taken care of, you can start heading out in the other direction and doing a little bit of exploration. That's to come over here and to explore these hexes. Would you do it personally, or would you send others to take care of the task? It costs BP to send others. It's free for you to do it.
We may as well do it.
Yeah. Okay. So then to go and explore those areas, both of those are more considered plains, even though there's still a little bit of tree and whatnot inside there. The exploration is how many days? Just a few days. So it's more a matter of traveling as well. So you can get the whole thing done in about 6 days' time. Traveling out there, exploring the areas that you haven't explored yet, and traveling back. But to successfully do so, could you roll me a survival check? And I believe 1, you're usually the person that does that.
Yes, please.
Perfect. For Dragon Spotting Maps. So put this here. Awesome. And Neil, he's obviously rolling the survival check. Do you feel as though you have any skills that you could offer to the group as you're kind of exploring through the area? Anything specifically you're looking for?
Let me look. I have knowledge local.
Mm-hmm.
So often, the local people will find the best routes through areas. Just naturally, there will be a dirt path through an area because it is the easiest way and the safest way. And I know, oh, don't go around there because, yeah, there's actually an owlbear that's pinned to a tree. It can't escape, but it'll murder you if you go around that corner.
Okay, so you're trying to utilize your actual people for this. Why don't you make me a loyalty roll? That's going to be with a plus 10. It's a 1d20 plus 10 for your loyalty roll.
1d20 plus 10. Roll.
Oh, that was like 20,
I was like,
16.
Do it, yeah.
That went pretty well. That went really damn well. As a matter of fact, your people jump to lend you aid. They gladly will give you all the advice you possibly can. I said it took you 6 days' time. That's actually not true. It only took you about 5 days' time. A little bit under that, you can get back to your kingdom at the very late at night, early in the morning of the 4th, 5th day area. You know what I mean? It's like a hard 4 days, and you're actually able to accomplish your task. But more than that, you were actually able to discover that inside, with the guidance of your people, specifically right inside this hex right here, you're able to find there's actually a small little lake that's in there that has not been really used for fishing great for a long time. And when you guys kind of like go and check it out, they tell you that if you actually cut through the ice, there's a considerable number of fish that exist inside there.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it's this hex is actually capable of having a, what's it called, a fishery put there.
Lovely.
When you get to it. Mm-hmm.
Could you mark that in some way?
I'm actually doing that right now. Just give me one moment. Of course. Cool. Use this token right here.
Devil tigers and eagle lions. Are they actual things?
Wait, what?
They sound horrific.
What are you talking about?
Eagle lion. An eagle lion, like an owlbear, but bigger and worse.
An eagle lion?
Yeah.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Is this
I'm blowing your mind, aren't I?
Okay.
I can see it right now.
Well, I just don't even know what you're talking about. I'm like,
someone said eagle lion in chat, and I like the concept.
Oh, because you're talking about, gotcha.
Griffin is an eagle lion. That's very true.
Well, devil tigers are like Rakshasa. Eagle lion is like a griffin. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're just reading chat now.
Oh, that's ha.
Don't you mansplain
I
to
was reading owlbears, devil tigers, eagle lions. Oh my! I was trying to react to you being dumb. All right, so that's marked right there for you. Perfect. So that's actually what you get for your really high check on the loyalty check. So you guys are able to be successful in that, get back to your kingdom, and get back to doing your typical kingdom duties. So one of the other things I want to go over is, Jake, do me a favor. Could you roll me a intelligence check?
Yep.
Okay. You've spent in the time that's passed since you originally met him, you spent a couple of days hanging out with Rockglugmug. He's actually a pretty nice guy, and you guys actually have fun chats.
He's a demon. He's a devil, isn't he?
He's actually a suck your butts. So he one of the things that you know about him is as you know, he's a bit of a braggart when it comes to certain skills of his, but you actually realize that he is he keeps talking about his knowledge when it comes to things like, you know, quality of wood grain and stuff like that. And so your character kind of gets like a little bit of an inkling. I don't know if you want to discuss it with Rayrin before you want to share the information with this new person to town, but neither of you were able to discover exactly what it is that tree was that you found. Perhaps maybe he knows that kind of a thing.
Yeah, so one would probably take Rayrin aside one day and just say, remember that tree in the Owlbear Cave? The one that had the magic in it, but I don't know, we couldn't figure out what it was?
Yes, I do remember.
Well, I've been talking to Glugmug, and maybe we should see if he knows wood as much as he thinks he does.
You know, I'm all for equality among the rulers and the people, but maybe hanging around with Glugmug this much isn't such a good idea.
Well, I guess time will tell. But
I suppose it can't
I can't
hurt.
see the harm of it. Yeah.
Oh well, I guess you'll be going out there with him. Take a picnic basket, perhaps. Have another meal together.
Well, I was hoping you'd come along as you know, you can do the magic-y stuff.
It seems a bit trivial for me to head all the way out there, but very well. As you are asking one, I will accompany you.
Thank you, Rayron.
So you bring Glugmug with you for this task, or does Raywin want alone time with Jake?
Obviously, we take Glugmug. Otherwise, there's no point going there.
Well, you know, maybe you enjoy Maybe you enjoy failing by yourself. You know,
Failing together.
failing together. So
If you just get rid of the I and change it to an L.
So when you guys grab him, you grab Glugmug up and like, oh, let's go for a walk. Let's go look in this direction, so on and so forth. It's not exactly like it's let's go for a quick walk. It's many miles outside of your actual curse fall. But when you head out in that direction and bring him over to the area, you finally lead him into the cave. And one of the first things you hear him say as you guys enter the cave, he goes, "Oh, this looks like an old iron cave."
An iron cave, you say?
Yeah. Look. This is where you get iron from.
You mean iron veins that are near the surface?
Yeah. You know, when you make barrels, one of the things you got to know about making barrels is you got to reinforce the barrels with a good iron band. Otherwise, when it's on the wagon, if that wagon hits a ditch because, you know, somebody didn't make a good wheel, then the barrels are kind of like shift and smash and crack. But with a good iron band, good barrel.
Sound logic.
Maybe you should look at the tree inside and on top.
Okay. So he kind of goes, it looks on top instead of going into the cave first. Goes around, looks on top, and he's like, "It's dead. It's a old dead tree." So he brought me to see an old dead tree.
Well, why don't you have a look inside as well?
Oh, looks like it's oak. Look, yeah. It's a good old dead oak tree. I mean, the wood's gonna be hard because of how old and dead it is, so it's gonna make for a really, really difficult sawing. I mean,
Inside the cave as well. Look at the roots specifically.
Goes down there, he looks at the roots, and he's like, "Huh, this is strange. The roots, I'm no, you know, root master. But, you know, I know trees."
Root master rubs beard. Is that not a thing?
But I you know, I know a tree or three or so. But these roots, you see where they're growing, and he kind of like walks over to like the wall and he kind of like rubs his hand along like where the roots kind of come in and how it is the roots kind of like spine out in all the areas that it goes into. You see this over here? It looks like these roots grew in where there would have been ore. Like there ain't any ore no more.
You're attempting to say that this is some sort of ironwood.
I'm not sure what that is, but it might be something. Chosen one.
Yes?
You got an axe? He says, pointing at your axe.
One just kind of
Actually,
like takes it off his belt. Yeah?
Hey, see if you can cut off one of these roots.
actually, we already did.
No. You talking about this? And he goes over and looks at the area where you kind of like shaved it.
No, we like literally we chopped one off.
Yeah, but it was like a little thing, right?
No, it was like the tip.
Oh yeah. So it was like a little thing. It was like a bit of root. It wasn't like anything.
It was like a nipple, a
Yeah.
rooty nipple.
Yeah, that's nothing crazy. He goes, no, not this spot right here. You gotta get a meaty spot. And so he's like, see if you can chop it up.
Okay, so I'll head over and try and chop a big bit off.
Okay, why don't you roll a strength check for me, sir? Oh. So you sit there.
This tree seems maybe it is ironwood.
You're chopping at the thing and you're scratching the surface. There's no question about that. I don't know if either of you or anybody in chat has familiarity with cutting wood, but sometimes your blade is just too dull because you don't want a sharp blade when cutting wood. But sometimes your blade's too. Actually, let's flip that around. It's almost like your blade is too sharp, and so all the cuts that you're doing are just too superficial. And so it's actually just putting all these little nicks inside the wood instead of actually getting that good like split. And so it's just like hacking away at it, and it just makes this like superficial mess in front of you, and you're not getting that good like to cause like the actual split to happen.
So one would turn to Glugmug and say, Glugmug, you know wood, right?
I mean, yeah, it looks like you don't know how to cut it though. No offense.
No, but can you give me some pointers?
Yeah. You're cutting
Like
at
Mike
it.
used guidance.
You're cutting at it sideways. You better go with the grain, because then you can travel along with the grain and kind of like it's just gonna put like a through. Go with the grain.
Okay, so with that, I guess he'd try again.
Yeah.
All right, another strength.
Hey, Frog, be with me.
There we go.
Awesome. You hit it like once and you put like a knock in it and you're like, oh, that's, if I can hit that exact spot, that's a really good guiding knock. I can really take this out. So then you wind back and you swing and you hit it again. However, this time when you hit it, your axe breaks.
You fucking piece of shit, Glugmug.
The head of the axe that gets like a huge notch into it, splintering cracks, and like the top fourth of your axe, literally as it hits it, it comes flying off, tings off the side of the wall, and comes flying at Rayrin. Rayrin, roll me a dexterity save. Keep you involved.
Dear.
The whole while you guys
a reflex save, you mean?
You know what I mean. The whole while you guys
I'm just having to teach you the system.
Are doing this. Glugmug actually happened to have a seat, and he was like over there sitting and watching. And even when you asked like, "You got any pointers?" He's like, "Oh yeah," like from like sitting down there, pointing up like, "Yeah." Then, and this. Anyways, you easily dodged the axe. It was only a DC of 11. You easily dodged the axe head as it comes careening off, and now you're there holding a broken axe with a sore wrist and reverberations all up and down your arm past your elbow.
Can I have a little look in the gash? I want to look in Jake's axe wound, please.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where we're taking this. But legitimately, I'd like to look in the damage dealt to the tree on its root via the method of axing.
Sure. So you go over there and you can roll me a perception check as you're really checking it out. And honestly, you it's pretty low because you can get like a light up in there and everything.
Probably. Let me just check. I have light spell prepped as well. So.
Yep. Bing.
Perception check.
So when you go in there, one of the things that you notice is that as you're kind of like checking out the damage, you're looking at the tree, that nasty little mess. You notice that the spot where the axe cut in and then broke, there's a bit of a shine inside there. And at first you think, oh, a bit of the axe that broke got wedged inside of it, and that's what's giving it a bit of a shine. But then you notice that over the area where you did that like big superficial mess, it also looks like there's a shine there too. On slightly closer investigation, it looks like there's literally iron inside the wood. Not to be confused with iron wood, which is wood that has a lot of the properties similar to iron. It looks like there's literally like iron inside of the wood.
So it's ironwood.
No. Not to be confused with ironwood, which is wood that has the properties of iron. Looks like iron inside the wood.
Was one's axe tempered?
It was not. Was it masterworked, your axe, Jake?
It was a masterwork axe.
So yes.
So that we're presuming it's in effect, it's tempered and it's like steel.
Yeah.
And yet this wood iron was capable of breaking it.
Yeah.
So this isn't actually iron in there, probably. It's probably combined the carbon from the wood to form steel.
You say that probably to one in Glugmug.
He doesn't. He probably
neither
doesn't
of them being metallurgists.
He understands the theory of that you would cover a sword, an iron thing, in coke and heat it up really hot and whatnot, and it would absorb, and you would get a layer of steel.
Now,
and
do you do the coke off right off of the iron, or?
Yeah, when it's like white hot.
Yeah.
That's how it gets its white.
Yeah,
that's how it gets its white color. Yeah.
Perfect. You put all the coke on there.
And it's all black, and then it heats up and it goes white. And
yeah, okay. I was wondering. Okay, cool.
Yeah, try it at home.
Yeah.
Record it though.
You'd probably die. Like that. Those temperatures go straight up to where your fucking brain is.
Of course you would. You'd melt horribly.
Yeah, like, oh God, that sounds terrible. Okay. So Glugmug was like, when the axe shattered, he's kind of like, whew.
One just turns around and like glares at him. He probably be like, raises his hand and he's like,
You gave yourself a high five?
no, you know how he was saying that everyone needs a smack?
Oh, yep. Oh! So sorry. Oh, that's good. Oh, she's like, what? What? You did it. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. That's good.
Go home, Glugmug.
He might be onto something, actually. This iron, as we called it, might be steel. Might be stronger than iron, seeing as it was capable of breaking your axe.
Honestly, it might be more than that. Hey, listen, you're gonna need a crew to come out here and get all that, because if that's it's family talk, rumors, stories, you know how it goes. I'm sure Grandma would suckle you to bed at night with some sort of talks about whatever. Anyways, we talk about trees, we talk about wood, we talk about barrels, and there are trees that if they grow the right kind of tree in the right kind of area, sometimes the roots when they're eaten, because trees eat with the roots. That's like what they do. They eat. What they go eating is they eat the metal out of the ground, and then they just kind of like travel through the ground eating the metal. The metal gets inside the tree and it affects it, and so the metal gets in the tree, and the tree gets in the metal, and it makes a different thing. But hey, listen, you're gonna need a whole crew of people to come and get that, because like I don't know trees too much, but like so the metal is not going to be like a solid piece on the outside. It's going to be like along like the inside, like how like like holds out his arm and he points out his veins.
I understand the theory, I think.
Yeah,
what you're suggesting is you want us to put you in charge of it.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure. 100 men. Yeah.
You can have 15 men, and it can be done within a few weeks. I'm trusting you with this, Glugmug.
He's like, is this a paid position?
Yes, but you understand that this is a beginning of your potential responsibilities, and as it doesn't directly respond to what it was you originally hired for, and seeing as I directed you to accommodation in the tenements, it will be somewhat subsidized of pay, but it will be plenty for you, don't worry. You'll have plenty of glug mugging to do.
Why don't you roll diplomacy? It's more or less saying, we're taking less of your non-pay. He scratches his head for a little bit. He thinks he follows, and he's like, yeah, we'll get it. We'll get the wood. I mean, iron or steel. We'll get it.
Excellent work.
It's going to make great barrels.
Probably won't be used for barrels.
And so that's pretty much everything that you got to do with the tree right now. And so we're kind
of... You can have 15 men and 5 guards assigned.
So 20 people total?
Yeah.
Gorgeous. One of the things that you guys will notice, because we're going to do a small time hop in a minute anyways, one of the things you're going to notice is that when they start going to saw through this, the equipment that they use to saw into this just fucking gets ruined. So you imagine if, like, you know those big band saws that they used to use back in the day with the 2 guys to cut down? Yeah, that shit doesn't work. You can't just cut down the tree.
So, like, they work on this and they come back and, like, their tools are ruined. After a couple days, they've had to come back.
Hold on one second. They also try other tactics, too. Like, they try doing with buckets of water around, or snow around, to make sure that it's safe. They also try to burn the tree, and they can't get the temperatures high enough to effectively burn the wood more than charring. And if you know anything about burning a log of wood, if it's charred on the outside and it doesn't really catch fire, it makes it even more difficult to try to burn on the inside. Go ahead.
Given that we probably have a couple more days, before we have to set off for what's it beginning with V?
Varen.
Mm-hmm. Rayron, like, seeing this, might decide to assist in terms of, like, he's not doing anything particularly important right now, so he can like, come and grab the other end of a bandsaw, and it glints with a blue light, and he just, like, helps the other guy on the other side.
Gotcha. That actually does work. It does a considerable job of making sure you guys can cut in much easier. But one of the things that you'll notice is even when you do that, the blade dulls. It doesn't just, like, get ruined. It's not like dropping your butter knife in a garbage disposal or something like that, like what was happening beforehand, where they were just going through tons of equipment. But they still dulls the blade relatively quickly. So you have a couple of options here. One, you need a lot of equipment, and so you're going to have to get that from somewhere. You have to produce it, or maybe even just shut down your own sawmills that you have for the month's time to get the equipment over there for them to be able to succeed at this. And 2, because you're diverting so much of your assets over there, it's going to cost an amount of BP. But before I can tell you the cost in BP to actually accomplish this, do you want to shut down one, both, or neither of your sawmills to accomplish this task?
Neither. So that means you need to produce everything from scratch to make it happen, right?
Could we send riders to Reed?
For what?
See if they have any tools there.
Oh yeah. The produce them, purchase them, whatever it is. Absolutely, that's not an issue.
So this iron doesn't run all the way through.
No. Well, it does. Yes and no. It's
only in the lower.
I'll describe it once it's done, which is going to take time. So what I'm going to tell you is that because this is something that you're doing before Kingdom time, it's going to cost you 3 BP in investment to properly get this tree prepared for production or use. Expose the metals, get it ready for when what's her name's back.
Okay.
Are you willing to spend the 3 BP?
Well, you get a -2 cost BP off sawmills. So if we shut both of them down, we'd just end up paying 4 BP and probably still 1 BP of cost.
So I'm saying, so you're happy with the 3 BP? Cool. All right. Show. Perfect. So you, I'm going to take it out of your treasury now. You go from 14 down to 11. and I will tell you how that all plays out after enough time passes that it's done. Okay. As for so that pretty much covers everything there. Was there anything else that you guys were handling in this area before you start hitting the road to Farron?
Don't think so.
Okay.
Other than we're just making sure. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, did they skin the owlbears like I asked?
Oh yeah, yep. Owlbears would have been skins, no problem. Why don't you actually, Jake? Why don't you actually roll me a leadership? Because that's yeah, sorry, a leadership roll for this one. Roll me because you're looking for something of. Is this meant to be a statement piece inside of your kingdom?
Yeah.
Make me a loyalty check. That's D20 plus 10.
Okay. So the big one I want for the throne room, and the small one I want for a blanket. So.
Oh, that's a big ass blanket. Like, you don't know how many people are in my bed. Whoa.
So it's a D20 plus 10?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh.
Not 10.
Okay. And are you? Do you want to enhance that at all with your luck?
Well, I mean, it's kind of pointless, but at the same time, well, it is supposed to be a statement piece.
Do it if you want to do it. Do it.
No, I'm gonna do it.
He's like, I played Pathfinder Kingmaker.
There we go, 21.
Beautiful. So they actually do the people that they get the work done. These aren't just like your typical skinners and whatnot. Once the better of the tradesmen in your kingdom hear about the project that's being worked on, they step up and kind of like offer their time. So it's like you had the people that you like commanded. Oh yeah, these people about, but then like others came out of the woodworks. Like you know about like Bill and Larry, but you don't know about like I don't know, Jacob,
Barry and Lil.
The skinners, and so they come in. I mean, these are people that they have a lot of skill in skinning exotic animals. As a matter of fact, they worked for Cruella de Vil for a while, taking care of like tigers and puppies. Great job. So they come out and they do an incredible job of properly skinning the thing. And then you guys don't have any tanneries inside of your area, so inside of your town. So they take care of the tanning like out inside the woods. Doing like a little bit of like winter tanning, and when it comes back and the work looks done, this is like a few weeks later because you already did kingdom rules and everything. This is a few weeks later. What ends up coming back is this incredible looking, massive thing. Like it literally looks like a giant owlbear carpet that you'd be able to like throw onto a floor or a tapestry you can hang from a wall, so on and so forth. It's massive in size, absolutely impressive. They're able to keep the head intact. They're able to put really good glass eyes in there, so on and so forth. It's very, very, very impressive looking. As for the one that's supposed to be a blanket, the bones and beak and everything were removed, so it's actually very soft throughout.
They can wear it on his head. Wrapped up in it. Oh, one's so cute.
I'm the owlbear. Rawr.
No, he's not that kinky. Come on.
Yeah. He's like, make me screech. So anyways, you what is it? The owlbear blanket. They end up putting like a lining into it. If the feathers weren't warm enough, they put like a lining into it, and then put like another like layer of like a soft material on the inside as well, like a cotton, and ends up making this like massive blanket. It's one of those ones where like you don't have a small bed. It's a fucking castle, and you have your own room in the castle. It just barely drapes on the floor on either side of the bed and overhangs the foot of the bed almost like halfway to the floor, as well as like propping up the head so the bed's properly made by the servants. Like you come in and it's another fucking statement piece on your bed. You know what I mean? So it's this really, really cool looking piece.
Gotta get it ready for when Tally comes around.
Heyo. Oh, you guys gonna lay some eggs together?
No. Well, one is getting old, so.
Is he? How old is he?
I don't know, he's like 25, but he's an orc, so...
Yeah. They get old quick.
He's basically 50.
Yeah. Yep, just like Neil. So, was there something else, Neil, that you wanted to do? Because he was talking about the owlbear thing, and you were going to say something else.
Was I?
Yeah, originally, yeah. And then you guys did that back and forth, and he spoke instead. Okay, cool. So that's completely taken care of. Looks absolutely beautiful. Eventually, you guys have to get your horses at the ready and look to leave the town. I think that's everything that we want to take care of before we left for Varen. Let me just double check before we go riding off.
I'm so excited to actually do some like D&D adventuring in Pathfinder rather than being a fucking king all the time.
Oh,
this business is hard work.
Cool. I think that's everything. Over there. Yeah, cool. That's everything. All right. So why don't we take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have these boys getting on their horses and riding to the east.
Coffee. It's not going to be that quick. I could have grind the beans.
Hey, listen, we start a half hour early for a reason. It's if we have to take slightly longer breaks for Neil to poop, I mean, make a coffee. If you know
grind the beans.
Yeah, grind the beans. I'm just saying, it comes out like liquid. Never mind. So, see everybody in a couple minutes.